Hello friends, welcome to a new episode of the Comfy Synth Review. As spring gives way to summer, a wind of change sweeps through the land. The last patches of snow on the highest of mountains have started to melt. The rhythm of life slows, and from the bustling markets to the quiet countryside, the people and woodland creatures find comfort in the gentle caress of the summer breeze. In this episode, I will share my favorite comfy synth releases of June 2023. Remember to stick around until the end to learn about my favorite album of the month. Without further ado, let's start the Comfy Synth Review. A Day Just For Me, by Mystic Recluse. Even the darkest of wizards sometimes need to indulge in some self-care. And this album is great to unwind after a long day fighting demons. Get ready to immerse yourself in the most relaxing bath music. In 6 tracks flowing seamlessly, Mystic Recluse delivers the warmest and most soothing synth tones in the whole kingdom. Without context, I could easily have thought this was an obscure New Age release from the 80s. New Age is a genre that I love to explore, and to see it collide with comfy synth is always a source of great enjoyment for me. The artist has categorized this release as sparse synth, and although it seems there are dozens of new absurd subgenres coined every day, this is one of the rare cases where I think this could catch on. Are there any comfy synth artists out there who are inspired by this? Will we have more sparse synth albums? Only the future can tell. Teratulia Tidings, by Teratulia. Once in a while, an album comes along, dazzling us with the sincerity and the heart with which it was made. Teratulia Tidings is one of these albums. You can tell this just by looking at its wonderful hand-drawn cover, which perfectly represents the album's atmosphere. These songs were all crafted with love and care. You will learn about Teratulia, a faraway utopia, where nature has a central part in its inhabitants' lives. The story is beautifully told through pristine melodies and bright tones. It's a deeply atmospheric album, and you will feel the urge to play it very loudly on your sound system, to fully immerse yourself into this world. I hope many more albums will come, and will teach us more about this special place. Under a Porcelain Moon, by Rainbow Dungeon. Emerging from the fog, a new project enters the scene. In June, Rainbow Dungeon dropped its first album, a meditative and eerie collection of music. With its out-of-tune cello presets and soft organs, Rainbow Dungeon puts the listener in a strange dream state. Some of the cuts on this album follow the minimalist principles of the strictest of monks. Musical phrases are repeated like some religious mantras, and are evocative of the renowned minimalist composer, Philip Glass. The whole album oozes an aura of dark romanticism, and its music feels like some ancient poetry. Finally, the album art for Under a Porcelain Moon stands as my personal favorite among the releases of the month. Fruit of the Field, by Gatehouse. Don't you love it when the music subverts the expectation of the album art? I went into this album expecting some lo-fi and distorted toy synthesizer, playing around a few major chords. But I was pleasantly surprised by this album's approach. It has a clean production and mix. The thick analog-sounding bass synths are creating a pulsing drone. On top of this foundation, shimmering harps and synth pads add a spacey and dreamy quality. The combination of the two fits beautifully, just like when the world of sci-fi meets the world of fantasy. Some soft medieval drums add a gentle bounce to some of these songs. The musician found a sound recipe and kept it throughout the 5 tracks, giving this album a distinctive atmosphere. Medieval yet futuristic sounding, Fruit of the Field is a very relaxing and trippy listening experience. A Woodland Summer Day, by Weird Gnome. What would be a comfy synth review without a Gnome synth release? On this new EP, Weird Gnome tell us a story of a typical summer day in Gnome Land. Each track is dedicated to a different part of the day, and the choices of sounds and musical mood is done perfectly. The ambient natural sounds are a nice addition, but even without it, the music is very evocative. There is an undeniable naivety and sweetness in these summer tunes. The raw and wobbly synthesizers remind me of old DOS games. The last track, The Sounds of the Midnight Chorus, is a fantastic piece. It conjures the warmth and the creepiness of a dark summer night. I think this might be my favorite track of the month. Thank you, Weird Gnome, for these golden tones. May you and all your gnome friends have countless sunny days this summer. Ifu no Nen, by Leaking Crypt. With such an ominous project name, you might not expect that this is a collection of beautiful melancholic tunes. But Leaking Crypt did it again. This project, hailing from Japan, delivers a handful of beautiful and hypnotic melodies. Imagine you find a haunted Game Boy console playing this music at night, on its own. As you inspect it closely, you realize the screen displays a peculiar image, an unsettling depiction of a man standing before an exploding totem. This image will linger in your mind, like a vivid hallucination. This is very much what this album feels like. Differing from the other tracks, that follow 8-bit composition style, the fifth track embraces an abstract and ambient approach. It's a quite radical break in the playlist, and it adds another layer of intrigue to this already very mysterious creation. What a wonderful and unique album. Favorite Places 2, by Grandma's Cottage. Most consider Grandma's Cottage's first release to be the starting point of comfy synth as a genre. As such, it's always an event in the community whenever a new Grandma's Cottage EP is released. As the title implies, Favorite Places 2 is the second part of a 3-volume project. The 3-track mini-album follows one theme: imaginary RPG town music. While part 1 was a transition between the classic Grandma's Cottage sound and the RPG video game sound, this one dives a bit further in the latter. It's heavily influenced by video game soundtracks like Stardew Valley. It's playful and sensitive. Grandma's Cottage is not bringing yet another revolution to comfy synth with this release. Nevertheless, I love RPG music, and each track is well executed. It's a very enjoyable EP by the original comfy synth pioneer. Raise Your Heart Towards the Heavens, Child, by Hermit Knight. In only a handful of albums, Hermit Knight has become a prominent figure in the world of comfy synth. I think this album is his most accomplished work so far. It has got all the hallmarks of a fantastic score for an epic film. At times profoundly sad, it is also remarkably uplifting. The synths are dense and beautiful, and the rest of the orchestration is often incredibly intense. You can dive fully into this music and all of its details, but it also works great as a background music while reading fantasy books or playing video games. The medieval and epic atmosphere is very lush. The mix is stunning. This album is yet another jewel in Hermit Knight's discography. Just Ask, by Purzum. Don't let the tongue-in-cheek references make you think this is not a serious project. Behind the funny titles and cute album artwork, the music itself is very well put together. Just like our feline friends, this album is as comfy as it is diabolical. Beautiful synth sounds gracefully move in playful arpeggios. Throughout the album, we are also getting the warmth of soft electric pianos and a whisker of xylophone shimmer. On several tracks here, it's as if Purzum had swallowed the comfy synth pioneer who goes by the name of Tiny Mouse. There are definitely some similarities in compositions here and there, on track 3 or 5 for example. But behind the fuzzy appearance, there are some dark undertones, revealing the cat's true intent. The production is impeccable. It might be the best sounding comfy synth album I have heard in a while. A well-deserved spot in this list for this furry friend. Mountains, by Onfang and Tutson. I'm very excited to talk about Mountains, which is my favorite comfy synth album of the month. On Fang and Tutson, two comfy synth masters reached new heights through a gorgeous collaboration album, deeply rooted in nature. The sound design is breathtaking, with reverb and echoes of the mountains and valleys giving these songs their distinctive mystical sound. The track list is perfect on both sides of the album. There is not one composition that is skippable. We can hear serene vocals numerous times, which is always refreshing in a comfy synth release. There is an undeniable pop sensitivity as well as a new age influence. It's albums like these that push the comfy synth genre forward. A beautiful work of art. Mountains is simply an unforgettable comfy synth album. That's all for today. I would love to know what was your favorite album this month. Remember to share it in the comments. I hope you were able to discover some new gems thanks to the comfy synth review. But I am also curious if you have any thoughts on how I could improve my videos. So feel free to let me know. I will be back next month for another episode. As always, remember to support your favorite artists on Bandcamp. Good night.